Good morning, cool cats. Happy Friday. Welcome to another edition of First Chapter Friday. Today, I'm going to share a book with you that's a fantasy. Fantasy books usually have characters that are not real. Sometimes they are going on a quest or a journey in the story. There might be magical powers or talking animals. That's what makes a book a fantasy. It really couldn't happen. But wow, fantasy books are so fun to read and to think about what if that really could happen. The book I'm going to start today is The Girl Who Drank the Moon, and this book was written by Kelly Barnhill. So I'm going to read the first chapter and part of the second chapter of The Girl Who Drank the Moon. Chapter 1, in which a story is told. Yes, there is a witch in the woods. There's always been a witch. Will you stop your fidgeting for once? My stars, I've never seen such a fidgety child. No, sweetheart, I haven't seen her. No one has, not for ages. We've taken steps so that we will never see her. Terrible steps. Don't make me say it. You already know anyway. Oh, I don't know, darling. No one knows why she wants children. We don't know why she insists that it must always be the very youngest among us. It's not as though we could ask her. She hasn't been seen. We make sure that she's not been seen. Of course she exists. What a question. Look at the woods, so dangerous. Poisonous smoke and sinkholes and boiling geysers and terrible dangers every which way. Do you think it is by accident? Rubbish. It was that witch. And if we don't do what she says, what will become of us? You really need me to explain it? I'd rather not. Oh, hush now, don't cry. It's not as though the Council of Elders is coming for you now, is it? You're far too old. From our family? Yes, dearest. Ever so long ago, before you were born, he was a beautiful boy. Now finish your supper and do your chores. We'll all be up early tomorrow. The day of sacrifice waits for no one, and we all must be present to thank the child who will save us for one more year. Your brother, how could I fight for him? If I had, the witch would have killed us all, and then where would we be? Sacrifice one or sacrifice all. That is the way of the world. We couldn't change it if we tried. Enough questions. Off with you. So, in this first chapter, we have learned that there's a witch living in the woods, and it seems that there is some kind of infant sacrifice made each year to the witch to keep all of the people safe. That seems very interesting. Let's start chapter 2 and see if we can learn just a little bit more. Chapter 2, in which an unfortunate woman goes quite mad. Grand Elder Gerlin took his time that morning. The day of sacrifice only came once a year, after all, and he liked to look his best during the sober procession to the cursed house and during the somber retreat. He encouraged the other elders to do the same. It was important to give the populace a show. He carefully dabbed rouge on his sagging cheeks and lined his eyes with thick streaks of coal. He checked his teeth in the mirror, ensuring they were free of debris and goop. He loved that mirror. It was the only one in Protectorate. Nothing gave Garland more pleasure than the possession of a thing that was unique to him. He liked being special. So this grand elder, he's getting dressed up to go to the sacrifice, and he's putting on some rouge, which is like blush that makes your cheeks pink. He's putting some eyeliner on to make his eyes really pop, and he looks into a mirror, and he's the only one with this mirror, so it makes him feel really special. The Grand Elder had ever so many possessions that were unique in Protectorate. It was one of the perks of the job. The Protectorate, called the Capital Kingdom by some and the City of Sorrows by others, was sandwiched between a treacherous forest on one side and an enormous bog on the other. Most people in the Protectorate drew their livelihoods from the bog. There was a future in bog walking, mothers told their children. Not much of a future, you understand, but it was better than nothing. The bog was full of zerin shoots in spring, and zerin flowers in the summer, and zerin bulbs in the fall, in addition to a wide array of medicinal and borderline magical plants that could be harvested, prepared, treated, and sold to the traders from the other side of the forest, who in turn transported the fruits of the bog to the free cities far away. The forest itself was terribly dangerous and navigable only by road, and the elders owned the road, which is to say that the grand elder owned the road, and the other elders had their cut. The elders owned the bog too, and the orchards and the houses and the market squares and even the garden plots. This was why the families of the protectorate made their shoes out of reeds. This is why, in lean times, they fed their children thick, rich broth of the bog, hoping that the bog would make them strong. So, we have learned that there is a witch that lives in the woods, and each year the town sacrifices a baby, an infant, to the witch to keep her away. We've also learned in this town there are some elders, and it seems that the elders own everything. And it makes me wonder, what do the people in this town own? Do they have any ownership of anything? Or is it only the elders that do? And maybe the elders that have a say so. If you want to read more and find out what happens to those babies and what happens in this town, then you should check out The Girl Who Drank the Moon. I will see you next week, Cool Cats, for another First Chapter Friday.